Hello there, Matty with Elemental Magic here, and I'm going to run through for you guys today a competitive sealed league. Here's my sealed pool. I just joined all of 5-10 minutes ago. It's currently sorted by rares mythics, so we can see we've got a couple of on-color rares here, which, that's lucky. Definitely some powerful rares. Okay, well, first thing I like to do is sort my pool by color. Obviously artifacts are their own color. Basic lands can just get out of the way. Or evolving was not basic. There's cradles of the accursed. I kind of like the cradles. They're sort of like man lands if your mana base is good enough to support them. Alright, and then we've got our dual color cards. So first thing is first. I go through each color and I pull down the cards I would play. So now I'm by no means very good at this format yet. I'm just working at getting better at it. So got a couple of going through white. Straight away, without looking at any of the cards, I can look at the pool and go, okay, we've got pretty even distribution between colors here. Pretty even distribution. So I'll start with white. This bird, 4 mana flyer that can exert, gives your team +1/+1. That's definitely playable. Visor of Deferment definitely was playable. Unwavering Initiate, 3/2 with Embalm, Vigilance for 3. Yep, playable. Crop Spearmaster gets the first strike. Yep, that one's good. Visor of Remedies. This thing is alright. I'm not going to pull it down. I don't really want to play 2/1 for 2, and I mean, it's kind of good if you have like a neg1 counter thing going on. Inorex's Name is good if you've got some sort of zombie deck going on. Mighty Leap, yeah, that's fine. Play a Mighty Leap. Gustwalker, it's a fine 2-drop, hits for 3. Compulsory Rest, that's a pacifism, happy with that. Binding Mummies, Impeccable Timing, definitely play that one, that's a removal spell. Binding Mummies, nah, not so much, not so much keen on these. They're just 2/2s for 2, they're curve fillers. We'll play them if we have to. But I'd probably play something like an Anointed Priest has an ability. Sacred Cat's also a curve filler, but it's okay as a cheap Embalm. And Lifelink's always nice. Next one, Cryptic Serpent. This is a 6/5 for 7, and it gets cheaper to cast with each instant of sorcery in the graveyard. So, bit of a specific deck required to play this card, but definitely strong if you can. You cheat this bad boy out for say if you can get say 2 taken off this, and you're playing this for 5, a 6/5 for 5, well above the curve. Floodwaters. This is an interesting tempo card. Returns 2 creatures to their hand. I think the Floodwaters are definitely playable and what makes them playable is cycling too. Cycling is so powerful in this format, and it goes well with our Crypt Serpent. Double Angler Drake. Double Angler Drake is big game. Angler Drake is a bit like, how in Modern Masters you can get that Din Rover Horror, bounce something back to your opponent's hand, and it's a 6 mana 4/4, 1 black, 1 colorless, and 1 blue, 1 black, and 4 colorless. Well, this thing's kind of the same. It doesn't have the discard effect that Din Rover Horror has, but it's a flyer, which is, arguably could just be better in draft, because often by turn 6 most people are getting towards Hellbent anyway. Shimmer Scale Drake, yep, we can play that. A 3/4 for 5 is just fine with flying. Cycling 2 makes it even better. Decision Paralysis, tap to target creatures, they don't untap until the next turn. Look, Decision Paralysis is kind of alright, not super amazing to be playing that, so I'm going to put it aside for a moment. Cancel, a cancel effect is fine in Sealed. Ancient Crab is alright if you end up in like a heavy neg1 counters build, like if you're a blue-black and you want something just to dump neg1 counters onto, you can do that with Ancient Crab. Visor of Tumbling, what have we got on here? Untap, maybe I should make this bigger so you guys can see. Yeah. Is that better? Maybe that's better for you guys. Okay, Visor of Tumbling Sands. Untap it, target permanent. Cycling for 2. When you cycle, untap target permanent. So I don't mind this card. So again, cycling make it so good, but also if you have a deck that has some sort of like you want to, what is it, exert deck, then this is just great. Scribe of the Mindful. What's this one doing? Sack. Return target instant sorcery from your graveyard to hand. This is alright, but very specific deck. Gale Strike. Return, yeah. Look, yeah, Gale Strike's fine. It's fine. It draws a card. Replaces itself straight away. Wings of Rebuke. Target opponent's owner's hand. Each player puts top 2 cards. Yeah, Wings of Rebuke. I actually really rate this card. It kills embalm creatures because they are tokens. So that'll kill an Angel of Sanctions that comes back. What else we got? Secret of Insight here. Draw a card that's if you 1/3. Kind of bit of a filler. Maybe not something I want to play, but I would play it in a certain deck. Essence Scatter. That's great. We'll play Essence Scatter for sure. Noosh of Knowledge. Enters battlefield. Draw a card. 1/1 and flying. I think this is actually one of the better ones. That and the red one quite good. Okay. On to our black. Straight out, Final Reward. Don't need to explain that. You're all not silly. You know why Final Reward is splashable, why it's good. Soul. Oh, I suppose it's new in the format. It's exile target creature for 5 mana at common rarity. It's amazing. Soul Stinger is great if you're in a -1/-1 counters. Pitiless Vizier. Whenever you cycle discard a card, it gets indestructible. It's 4/2 for 4. So happy with that one. Painful Lessons, a fine one of you could be playing. Faith of the Devoted. It's an enchantment for 3. Whenever you cycle this card, you may pay 1. If you do, they lose. You drain, gain 2. I'm not terribly sold on this card, though I could be wrong. In a dedicated cycling deck, the Katusha of Ambition is fine. It's one of the not super happy about it, but it's all right. Blighted Bat has been surprisingly playable for me. I'm not sure if that's a general thing. Miasma Mummy, I only really like real aggressive decks. Doom Dissenter, again, kind of just a curve filler. Scarab Feast. Scarab Feast is an interesting one. Ruthless Sniper as well. Whenever you cycle a discard, you may pay 1. -1/-1 counter. So Ruthless Sniper could be decent. Scarab Feast. This is a card, a really good sideboard card against, if you come up against someone playing like a lot of come on, Matt, words. Embalm creatures. So if you come against someone with embalm creatures, this is great. It cycles for 1. If you're against a deck that doesn't play it, just cycles for 1, which is fine. So Scarab Feast, fine sideboard tech, possibly mainboard tech actually. Probably happy to play 2 one mainboard, maybe 1 more on the side. Right, now onto red. This big dummy, he's fine. He's got cycling. Emberhorn Minotaur, definitely playable. You got a 4/3 for 4, and it gets menace and +1. Electrify, great removal spell. It kills that big red bastard. What's he called? It'll come to me. Glorybringer, that's the one. Trial of Zeal, 3 mana, 3 damage to creature or player. Not great at sorcery speed, but it's fine if you have a couple of ways to bounce it and make it recurable removal. Thresher Lizard is playable in a certain deck. Minotaur Sure Shot is actually fine. It's got reach, something that people might forget about it. It has reach, and the pump is a mana sink, so I'm happy to play a mana sink like that. This Crasher's great. Crasher's really great. 3/2 for 3 with haste, and it's able to remove a blocker. We've got a Fling here. Fling in limited is very playable. It's good for finishing off opponents. Flameblade, Menace. Whenever you cycle or discard, it gets +1 and turn. Okay, so that's fine. Katusha of Zeal. I really like the Katusha of Zeal. Haste is the big one it gives it. So it gives a creature. It gives actually 3 things. A lot of them I think give like, yeah, the haste and the +1/+1, and target creature can't block. So that's great. Bloodlust Inciter. A lot of friends at the top of mine have been telling me this has been great for them. Been really good. I don't mind it. Blazing Volley, I would be more happy. I'm not sure if I'm going to start it though. These 2 cards are if we're playing a very aggressive deck. And so far, just a quick browse of the cards. We don't really have the cards for an aggressive deck. Blazing Volley is a card I actually don't mind, but the problem with it is it doesn't have. If it had cycling, I'd be a lot more convinced. All right, we're getting down to green now. Green was one of our strongest colors. We had on-color rares galore. So Sandworm Convergence. I haven't played with this card yet. I imagine it's decent in Limited, if you can get there. This Monitor, the big lizard, cycling for 4, puts a land onto the battlefield. That sounds like something that a deck that's trying to get to Sandworm Convergence might want. I do have a preference for playing green if we can get there, because I'll just get this guy out of the way. The best god in the set, he'll be in the deck. Watchful Naga. May exert Watchful Naga's attacks. As I do, draw a card. I don't hate that. It's a bit of a curve filler. Undo. Battlefield, put a -1 on target creature you control. Yeah, 3/4 for 3 is decent. -1 counters, very interesting. Don't know if that's what we're going into. Gift of Paradise is a ramp card, and I gain 3 life, so I don't mind that. Initiate's Companion. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, untap a creature or land. Most of all, it's a 2-mana 3/1. This guy's going to trade up a lot of the time. Usually 2-mana 3/1s have like downsides, like can't attack or block alone or something like that. Not the case with this one. Bitterblade Warrior. I've been very impressed with these guys. I would play 2 in a heartbeat. Plus, you know, it swings in it as a 3/2 with Death Touch, so he trades with anything, and just a 2/2 for 2. It's fine. Stinging Shot, bit of a sight. Oh, 4 Stinging Shots, jeez. Tell you what, hope this is a fine card because unlike Blazing Volley, this has cycling, and again, like Scarab Feast, if it's relevant, your opponent has flyers. Bring it straight on in. Bring it in. Cycle it away if you don't need it. Maybe start 2 and have 2 on the board. Maybe just start 1, have 3 in the board. But I guess anyone who, I'm assuming, people aren't going to have a great time if they're playing flyers against our decks. We've got a lot of sideboard for that. Right. Neheb the Worthy. This card is great. Great in an aggressive deck. For what I've got here, though, so far out of the cards I've selected of what I like, I don't think so. I don't think it's where I want to be. The red-black pools are definitely the 2 lightest, along with white. Green and blue seem to have the most I'm interested in here. So Neheb, while definitely great, definitely playable, would definitely put it in my pool. Not where I want to be. Arncrop Champion. It's a 4/4 for 4, which is fine. And I can exert it to untap all my other exerters. So if I end up in a green-white or a green... I think I'm definitely green. Or a green-red... Naya-coloured, green-red-white. Just having a look at all the exerters we have. We have Bitterblade Warriors, Watchful Naga, so we've got a bit in green. 1, 2 in red. We got 1 in white, so not a lot. So not a lot to support the white colour. Red's a bit stronger, so white we'd be touching on white maybe for like Impeccable Timing, Rest, Gust Walker, Mighty Leap, maybe the Spearwalker as well. Oh yeah, Spearmaster's an exert creature, and then probably Advisor maybe. And oh yeah, I guess there's enough. You could say you'd splash into white, maybe for this guy. So yeah, okay, he's an option. Put him down as an option out of our multicolored section. Bounty of Luxor. So this is a ramp card. It has a lot of words on it, but let me basically explain how it goes. So you play it. Does nothing when it enters. So that's a bit of a downside. Then it says in your beginning of your pre-combat main phase, you remove all flood counters from it. If there's no counters removed, draw a card. Otherwise, if you remove a flood counter, add a green, blue, and a colorless. So basically, let's translate that to simple terms. It says you play this 4-mana enchantment, does nothing. Next turn, in your main phase, in your first main, draw a card. Then go about your business. Following turn, and put a counter onto the enchantment. Following turn, remove that counter, ramp. So it goes draw a card, ramp, draw a card, ramp, draw a card, ramp. That's what the card says and is doing. This is not a card I'd typically be amazed with, although drawing cards, this has been a grindy format. I mean, look, we've got this Sandwurge Convergence, and I don't know how you beat Sandworm Convergence, so I'm actually putting it down definitely as a option for playable out of our multicolored. What else have we got in multicolored? We've got Cut and to Ribbons. This is an absolute house. What a great card. This is actually one of the few split cards I think could see play in Constructed. It's just straight Flame Slash on one side, fine. And then the Aftermath is opponents lose. The Aftermath is opponents just lose. You can just fireball the opponent in the late game. Like it just sits in your graveyard, just looming, and then bang, just fireball them. So that's pretty good. Pretty good. Rags to Riches. Rags to Riches is actually quite decent if you're playing more of a control-y deck. You get to sweep up the little dudes in the early game, and then just for and then late game you kind of get to take it once you've killed most of their stuff. You can pick up a creature they control. The problem is the flashback or the aftermath side only really is good if you've got a lot of removal. If you've been killing you kill their crappy stuff, leave them with a big thing like in your end step, kill your little dudes, untap, riches, you'll take your big thing. So a little bit annoying. I'd like a lot more if Riches just said take control of a creature opponent controls. So not sold on playing this card. Just a quick look through our artifacts. This sword is, I guess you can feel it if you're playing an aggro deck. This green monument, yeah, we would play that. We would play a green monument. We would definitely play it. Watches the Dead, bit of a sideboard card. Hazoret's Monument, also don't mind this one. I think it's actually a pretty good one, and I would play it if we end up in green-red. Evolving Wilds, we're going to play Evolving Wilds, and we're definitely going to play Cradle of the Accursed. So now I've gone through cards I want to play, and I still kind of know that I have these available. I can go into now. If you're sitting at home doing this on your computer, you could have time to build multiple decks here, But you've got to remember, if you're practicing for a sealed event, you've got a time limit. You don't just get to sit there all afternoon and build the best deck. You need to build a deck within the time limits, within the time constraints. So, for me, I don't need to look over my cards too much. I can already tell that I want to be in green and blue. Green and blue seems like the strongest of our pools at the moment. We've got really good top end. We've got ramp spells, and we've got just really good top end and ramp spells. Ways to go over the top of a lot of decks. What are we lacking? We're lacking removal. We don't actually have a lot of removal. So if we look into white, we've got 2 pieces of removal. We look into blue, we've got 1 counterspell, 2 counterspell. The counterspell's not so great in ramp. We've got some bounce spells, but they're not really a removal per se. Black, we have 1 removal spell. In red, we've got a Trial, Electrify, a Cut, a Fling. Got a few red removal spells. So, red has the most removal, and blue-green have the best top end. To me, that sort of says Don't worry about these Cradles of the Accursed. I'm not going to have the mana for it. I will take this Evolving Wilds to say I do want to play a third. I can splash a colour, and to me, I really want to splash the red. Black and white just seem a bit shallow here when I compare them to the other three colours. Red fills in the gaps that blue-green hasn't got. Blue-green's the clear winner. So let's go with that to start. So I'm going to build for a bit now. I'll build, and then I'll explain my choices. So what I'm going to do now, all this stuff can more or less get out of the way. We're looking at these three colours primarily. And let's go down here and go sort by now we'll sort by converted mana cost. Start looking at, I mean, if I was doing this in real life too, I would be this is basically how I do it, but I'm just trying to explain my thought process as we go. So 2 cartouches, and they're there to bounce Trial of Zeal. I like the Bitter Blades, I like the Initiate's Companion. The Fling is a maybe. So I'm going to put up Fling there in the maybe section. Wings of Rebuke, maybe. Essence Scatter is great. We definitely want to play this Evolving Wilds. Gale Strike's a bit better than Wings of Rebuke. Visor of the Sands. Untap. I can cycle him as well. It's kind of fine. He's a bit of a maybe card. Crop Crasher. We're not really playing aggro deck, so I don't really need this guy. Trial 0 for sure. Sure Shot doesn't really interest me. I just really want the removal out of red. That's what I really want. Cut. We're never going to play. We're not going to play the other side of cut. We're just going to play cut as just cut. So it's a 2-drop. Let's put it in the 2-drop section. Hazard's Monument, I don't think so. That's red creature spells. If we cut the red creatures, like I'm sort of leaning towards, then we're just playing red for cut, Trial of Zeal, Electrify, and another cartouche to bounce Trial. Ronya's Gifts of Paradise I want to ramp. Ronaz the Indomitable, of course. Watchful Naga is a maybe. Might not fit what we're doing. We're trying to ramp. Ronya's Monument. Green creature spells cost 1 less to cast. It's ramp spell. But what creatures does it ramp us to? Have a quick look. It doesn't actually ramp us to any green creatures. Sure, the Monitor, but the Monitor I'm probably not casting. I'm probably turn 4ing it, so it actually sits here. I'm turn 4 cycling it to ramp me to a 6-drop. Yes? Yes, that is what we're doing. So Ronya's Monument, actually not as good in this deck as I thought. Whenever you cast a creature spell, creature gets +2/+2. So that does stop board stalls, but here's the thing. Ronus himself is going to stop board stalls. Samwood's Convergence is going to overtake board stalls. How much instance do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, does that make Cryptic Servant good enough? Does it make it good enough? Maybe. Floodwaters I like because we can cite Electrifies, Bounty, and this Monitor for sure. Shimmer Scale Drake just gives us something to do on 5, which is a bit of a sore point. So I like this. It also cycles. I also like this bad boy because he cycles on 1. So I'll keep him in the deck. We're at 17 lands right now. This is the deck as it stands. Evolving Wilds being land number 17. Floodwaters, return up to 2 target creatures to the owner's hand, cycling 2. Angler Drake, just a big dude, 2 of them. Cryptic Servant, you know what? I think I'll give the Serpent a try. The only thing I can think of other than Serpent would maybe be Watchful Naga, or like Emberhorn Minotaur. I kind of just like the big dude, and I think I will play the big dude. So these cycle on 2. So does this. This could be perfectly fine. And we get to Sandwich Convergence, and it's going to be at the beginning of our end step. So it creates a 5/5 straight away. That's very good. If it was in your upkeep, it would be much worse, but that 5/5 can attack next turn. This looks great. Looks great. We could... How hard is our mana? Blue, 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 blue. Cancel's a bit rough on the mana. I still want to play it, because we haven't got a lot of removal. Okay. So this is the deck I've ended up with. It's a ramp deck. Our ramping, we didn't get any of our... It would have been good to get 2 mana rampers, which we didn't get. Instead, we got a Gift of Paradise and a Bounty of Luxor, and the Monitor to help put lands into play. We're also going to play 17 lands. How many red sources do we need? I'm going to argue at most 2. Can't imagine needing more than 2. So I'm going to go... Okay, so we're going to lose the swamp, definitely go up on a forest, lose a mountain, go up on a forest, I think, too. So we're not looking to flashback that at all. Got 2 red, 6 and 8. Seems about right. Add those to the deck, and that's our what? That's our deck. All right, and we've got a little bit of sideboard tech for things. If we're against a really aggro deck, got these blazing volleys. We can always lower our curve. Fling could be fine in our deck. Maybe fling. Maybe I want fling. Just like throw worms at people. Seems rude, but it is removal, right? Creature or player. This requires me to sack a creature. Maybe fling, yeah. Fling. Oh. Maybe Katush isn't. It doesn't make Trial of Zeal you can do it again. But it sort of doesn't suit our deck. I might take out the Zeal. I've only got 1 trial. Yeah, I've only got 1 trial, so I don't need to be too heavy. I like this one because it cantrips, draws a card. The flying is relevant. If Stinging Shots, how do we deal with flyers? We actually have our own flyers. We have removal, we have bounce, and counter magic. So we have ways to deal with flyers. Main board. If there's super problematic flyers, we bring in these Stinging Shots. Watchful Naga is also fine. What about this guy? 3 mana, if he puts it on himself, he's a 2/3. Still blocks a lot in the format. Maybe we don't want this Initiate's Companion. It trades up, but it's a bit, it's like a bit of an aggro card. Not looking to do that. I suppose. I don't mind these aggros sort of starts and you just draw out some removal. Because I can imagine games where you play this into Ronas and it's just like, well, I'm just going to keep pumping with Ronas. Ronas is also a mana sink, which is nice. So maybe the Ondus come in, or Honorary Kudus come in against like real aggro decks alongside the Blazing Volleys. Anyway, we'll see how we go. I'm saving deck here, and that's my first sealed deck for this season. Let's get to playing.